Stop trying to figure out whether a man likes you only by paying attention to his words. Words are the easiest thing for someone to manage. A man can say all the things you have been hoping to hear and still not have genuine feelings behind those words. But there is one thing he naturally starts doing when he is truly developing feelings for you. And that one thing is extremely difficult to pretend. Once you learn how to recognize it, you stop living in confusion. You stop analyzing every conversation. You stop asking your friends to interpret every message. You stop searching for hidden meanings in every small action. You simply start seeing the truth. But before I tell you what that sign is, think about a moment when you were unsure about a man's feelings. Maybe everything seemed perfect when you were together. The conversations felt effortless, the connection felt natural, and you left feeling like something special was beginning. But then you went home, and suddenly the questions started. You wondered if he actually liked you, or if he was just naturally kind and charming with everyone. You looked at your phone more often than usual. You checked if he replied, how long he took, and what his message meant. One moment you felt confident that he was interested, and the next moment you questioned everything again. Maybe you even reached out to a friend hoping they would give you the answer you needed, but instead they said something like, just give it time and see what happens. And somehow that made the uncertainty feel even heavier. That emotional back and forth is exhausting. The surprising part is that many times the answer is already visible. You just were never taught where to look. Most people are taught to focus on the wrong signs. They pay attention to things that look important, but often reveal very little about someone's true feelings. A lot of people focus on texting. They wonder how fast he responds. They analyze whether his messages are long or short. They notice every emoji, every pause, and every change in his tone. They start believing that a simple message can reveal everything happening inside his heart. But texting can be one of the most misleading things to judge. Some men are naturally not big texters. Some people communicate warmly with everyone. Some men can genuinely care about someone and still become quiet because they are focused on work, personal struggles, or simply processing their emotions. A message on a screen cannot always show what a person truly feels. This is where many people get trapped. They spend hours trying to decode tiny details while missing the bigger picture happening right in front of them. The real signs are usually not hidden in perfect words or constant messages. They are found in patterns. They are found in effort. They are found in the way someone begins to naturally include you in their life. Pay attention, because this next part changes everything. When someone is truly interested, their actions begin to speak louder than anything they could say. They start showing up differently. They start making space for you. They start caring about how you feel, not just how you make them feel. That is the difference between someone who enjoys your attention and someone who values your presence. If he is regularly making time to see you or suggesting activities you can do together, it may seem like a clear sign of interest. But even that can sometimes be confusing. A man can genuinely enjoy spending time with you in a relaxed, casual way, the same way he enjoys being around close friends, without necessarily feeling a deeper emotional connection. Enjoying your presence does not always mean he has developed strong feelings. So even making plans by itself is not the complete answer. There is another thing people often misunderstand, and that is compliments. It can feel meaningful when he tells you that you look beautiful, that you make him laugh, or that he loves having conversations with you. Those words can make you feel noticed and special, but compliments are one of the easiest things to give. A man who is seeking attention, enjoying validation, or simply likes playful flirting may give compliments without having serious emotions behind them. Even naturally confident and charming men can say wonderful things without those words representing deeper feelings. So compliments alone cannot tell you the whole story. Then there is eye contact. Many people believe that intense eye contact automatically means a strong emotional connection is forming. Sometimes it can be a sign, but it is not always the truth. Some people are naturally expressive. Some people are naturally confident. Some people simply have strong communication skills and make everyone feel seen when they talk. Eye contact can create a powerful moment, but by itself, it does not prove emotional attachment. This is the part most people miss. All of these things are only visible on the surface. They can appear like signs, they can feel exciting, they can create hope, but they are not always the real indicator of what is happening inside someone. These actions can be inconsistent, they can have many explanations, and they can easily be misunderstood. They may feel important in the moment, but the reality is they can all happen even when a man does not see the relationship in a deeper romantic way. If these are the only things you are using to judge his feelings, uncertainty will continue because you are watching the wrong signals. The real sign is much deeper than that. It is not hidden in his words. It is not measured by how quickly he replies. It is not simply about whether he makes plans or gives you attention. The true signal appears through something much more natural, something he often does without even noticing it himself, something that happens when his emotions begin changing before he has fully accepted those feelings. And that is exactly why it is so powerful. It is not something he prepares in advance. It is not a strategy. It is not an act designed to win you over. It happens naturally because his behavior starts revealing what his heart is experiencing. When feelings become stronger, people often begin showing their emotions through small patterns they cannot easily control. The way they think about you changes. The way they include you in their world changes. Their priorities begin shifting without them even planning it. And this is the part you need to understand, because many people spend so much time searching for obvious signs that they miss the quiet ones. The biggest clues are often hidden in simple moments, the things someone does when they are not trying to impress you, the choices they make when nobody is watching. So pay close attention, because this next sign is the difference between temporary interest and genuine emotional connection. When a man starts truly falling for you, something inside his behavior begins to shift. He starts doing something that reveals you are becoming more important to him than he expected. And once you recognize this pattern, you will never look at his actions the same way again. Your life begins to matter to him in a way that feels real and meaningful, not in a dramatic way, not in a way where he suddenly feels like he has to solve every problem you have. It is much quieter than that. It appears through small, consistent moments where you can see that you are on his mind even when you are not around. He remembers something you casually mentioned days earlier, something that was bothering you, something important to you. Then later, he brings it up again and asks how everything turned out. Not because he is trying to impress you, not because he wants credit for being a good listener, but because it genuinely stayed with him. You stayed with him. And that is the difference between someone who simply enjoys spending time with you and someone who is beginning to form a deeper emotional connection. Let's look at this more clearly. A man who is only casually interested usually enjoys the moments you share together, but when those moments end, he returns fully to his own world. You are part of his experience, but you are not necessarily part of his thoughts afterward. He likes being around you, but you do not continue appearing in his mind when you are gone. That is casual attraction, but when stronger feelings begin to develop, something starts changing internally. You are no longer just someone he talks to. You become someone he remembers. He hears a song and thinks you might like it. He sees something funny and immediately wants to send it to you. He remembers you had a difficult conversation coming up and wonders how it went. You begin existing in his thoughts even when there is distance between you, and that mental presence slowly becomes visible through his actions. For example, he may bring up a small detail you shared earlier, something you probably forgot you even told him. Then he naturally asks about it later, not as a planned move, not as a way of saying, "Look how much attention I pay." It simply comes up because his mind held onto it. That is the real signal. That is him showing you, without trying to perform, that you have become part of his inner world. Now compare that to a simple compliment. A compliment can happen in a few seconds. Anyone can say something nice. It does not always require emotional effort or deeper awareness, but remembering something personal about you and returning to it later requires something different. It requires genuine attention. It requires being mentally present with you, not just physically spending time with you. And most people do not naturally do that for everyone they meet. They usually do it when someone begins to matter on a deeper level. Here is the part many people overlook. This sign is often so subtle that it can easily be missed. He might casually ask, "Did that problem you mentioned with your coworker ever get resolved?" You might answer quickly and move on. But that small moment actually reveals something important. He remembered what you said. He thought about it afterward, and he cared enough to check back in. That is not just a random question. That is emotional awareness. That is genuine presence. And when this starts happening, it usually does not appear only one time. It becomes a pattern. He starts remembering your little preferences. He remembers stories you told him before. He recalls small details about your routine without needing you to repeat them. He brings things up naturally, almost like it is obvious that those details matter, not because he is trying to prove something, not because he wants applause for remembering, but because your experiences have become important to him. That difference matters. Someone who is trying hard to impress you often makes their effort noticeable. They want you to see what they are doing. It can feel like they are following a checklist, but someone who genuinely cares does not need to announce it. They simply remember. It happens naturally because you already have a place in their awareness, and this same sign can appear in other quiet ways too. Sometimes it shows through noticing your emotions. Maybe you are quieter than usual, and he asks, "Are you okay?" You did not explain anything. You did not ask for attention. He simply noticed. That awareness comes from observing you carefully. Sometimes it appears through anticipation. He sees something and thinks, "She would probably enjoy this." He hears about something happening and immediately thinks you would be interested. He is not waiting for instructions. His thoughts are already moving toward you. Sometimes it appears through simple acts of care. Making sure you arrived home safely, remembering something that makes you uncomfortable, and adjusting his actions because he cares about your experience. Small choices that come from concern, not from obligation. These moments may seem ordinary, but they reveal a deeper change. You are no longer just someone he spends time with. You are someone he keeps in mind. And once you understand this pattern, many confusing things start becoming clearer. You stop placing too much importance on surface-level signs like texting speed, compliments, constant planning, or intense eye contact. Those things can still happen without true emotional involvement. They can come from personality, habit, confidence, or social skills, but this signal is different. It requires memory, it requires care, it requires you to exist in his thoughts even when you are not directly in front of him. And when it happens consistently, it becomes much harder to ignore. But there is something important to remember. The moment you notice someone showing interest, do not immediately change your entire behavior. Do not suddenly become constantly available. Do not start giving more than you naturally want to give. Do not lose yourself trying to secure the connection. The healthiest response is to stay balanced, stay kind, stay open, stay yourself. Allow things to develop naturally while keeping your own life, goals, and peace important too. Because the real question is not only whether someone feels something for you, the deeper question is whether both people can build something healthy together. Another mistake many people make is becoming trapped in constant analysis. They learn about signs like this and then start searching for proof in every single interaction. Instead of creating clarity, it creates pressure, and pressure can change the natural energy between two people. So the goal is not to chase the signal or force yourself to find it everywhere. The goal is simply to recognize it when it appears naturally. Let it guide your understanding, but do not let it control your emotions. Remember, everyone develops feelings at a different pace. Some people express care quickly, others need more time before their actions reveal what they feel. The important thing is not the speed. The important thing is whether the pattern is becoming consistent. Because real interest is rarely shown through one dramatic moment. It is usually revealed through many small moments that quietly repeat until the message becomes impossible to miss. Some men need more time before they fully open up emotionally. It may happen because of past experiences, old disappointments, emotional walls they have built, or simply because they process their feelings more slowly. So if you are waiting for a certain sign to appear within a specific amount of time and it has not happened yet, it can be very easy to assume something is wrong. You might start doubting yourself. You might begin acting from fear instead of understanding. But many times, there is nothing wrong at all. Sometimes it is simply a matter of timing. Every man has his own pace when it comes to becoming emotionally vulnerable, but the important thing to remember is this: the signal itself does not change. The timing is what changes. And there is another mistake that can completely shift the way you experience a connection. It is forgetting to look inward. You become so focused on discovering whether he likes you that you stop asking yourself the questions that matter just as much. Do you actually enjoy being around him? Do you feel peaceful when you are with him? Do you feel respected, understood, and free to be yourself? Because yes, his feelings are important, but your feelings and your experience matter equally. Do not make the entire relationship about studying his behavior while ignoring what is happening inside you. A healthy connection is not built around one person trying to decode the other. It is built through two people genuinely experiencing each other. When you understand this balance, everything begins to change. When you can recognize the real signs of interest and respond from a place of confidence instead of fear, the entire dynamic becomes healthier. He begins to feel comfortable around you. Not because you are trying to impress him, not because you are carefully choosing every move, but because he feels accepted and understood. He feels that he can express himself without being constantly judged, tested, or analyzed. That feeling of emotional safety is what allows deeper feelings to grow. It creates space for attraction to become something stronger and more meaningful. The truth is, people do not develop deep feelings because someone creates a perfect image or follows a perfect formula. They do not fall because someone says every correct sentence or tries to maintain their attention every second. Real feelings grow when being around someone feels natural, when a person can relax, when they do not feel like they have to pretend or perform, when something about that person stays with them even after they leave. And that is exactly what this signal reveals. It is not about dramatic actions or unforgettable moments. It is about quiet mental presence. It is about becoming someone who naturally appears in his thoughts without force. Once you understand this, so many things become easier to see. You stop searching for hidden meanings in every message. You stop replaying conversations over and over. You stop trying to find proof in every small detail because you realize the deeper answer is found in patterns, not isolated moments. The real question becomes much simpler. Does he remember the things that matter to you? Does he notice changes in your mood? Does he naturally think about your experiences even when you are not there? Does he follow up on the small details you once shared? That is where genuine interest often reveals itself. And when you begin noticing these things, the constant uncertainty starts to fade. The endless guessing becomes quieter. The need for repeated reassurance becomes weaker because the actions themselves begin telling the story. This type of clarity changes the way you carry yourself. You stop chasing answers. You stop trying to force someone to show you where you stand. You stop changing yourself just to keep someone interested. Instead, you remain connected to your own confidence and peace. You understand that you do not need to convince someone to value you. You simply observe whether their actions naturally show that they do. And surprisingly, that calm version of you is often the most attractive, not because you are pretending not to care, not because you are creating distance or playing games, but because you are secure within yourself. You are no longer moving from anxiety, fear, or uncertainty. You are grounded, and that grounded energy creates a completely different experience. Conversations become lighter, connection feels easier, attraction has room to grow because pressure is no longer controlling the moment. This is the bigger picture. It is not about constantly wondering, analyzing, or searching for hidden clues. It is about understanding what truly matters and allowing things to develop naturally. You now know what signs deserve your attention, what they can reveal, and how to respond without abandoning yourself in the process. Remember, the strongest connections are not built through chasing. They are built through mutual effort, emotional awareness, and genuine presence. So the next time you find yourself wondering what someone feels, do not only listen to the words, watch the patterns, notice the consistency, pay attention to how you feel around them. Because real interest is rarely found in one perfect sentence. It is revealed through repeated actions that quietly communicate, "You matter." And when you recognize that, confusion loses its control. You become calmer, you become clearer, you become more confident in your own ability to see what is truly happening. If this message gave you a new perspective, stay connected for more insights that help you understand relationships, emotions, and human behavior on a deeper level.